This is a basic skill review on how to adjust viewing in the timeline in Final Cut Pro. We're going to focus on zooming in, zooming out, zooming to fit, and finally scrolling left and right. The idea in Final Cut Pro is to find the fastest way to do repetitive tasks, and adjusting the view in your timeline is one of the things you'll do most often. You may be familiar with some of the slower ways to zoom in and out. For instance, you could grab this little button in the zoom slider, drag it left, drag it right to zoom in and out. There's another slow way. You could select the zoom tool and then click in your timeline to zoom in, or option click to zoom out. I'll reset that to the home tool. But again, those aren't particularly fast. Take a look at the view menu. Here you can see zooming in has a shortcut key, Command =, and zooming out has a shortcut key, Command -. I'd actually encourage you to think of the Command equal as Command plus, because the plus and the equal share the same key on the keyboard. And if you think of it that way, then you'll remember plus to zoom in and minus to zoom out. And then zoom to fit is a Shift Z. Let's practice that. So making sure that the timeline is the active window, right? You don't want this to be the active window. You don't want this to be the active window. You want to make sure it's the timeline. Command plus will allow you to zoom in so you can do some really fine edits. Command minus will allow you to zoom out so you can see where you are in your edit. Practice that. The last thing is, I'm going to zoom in a little. If you get lost in your timeline and you want to see where you are in your movie, a very quick way to do that is to hit Shift Z. That will zoom to fit. No matter how long your movie is, it will fit the size of the window that you have. It also works if you're zoomed out. Zooming to fit will have the same effect. It'll zoom to fit the size of your window. Shift Z. Practice that a few times. The last thing I want to show you is a quick way of scrolling left and right. You probably, we'll zoom in a little bit, you've probably been going and finding this little scroll bar and dragging it left or dragging it right, but there's a much faster way. Try holding down the Shift key and then using the scroll wheel that's on your mouse to maneuver left and maneuver right. You see how that works? Again, hold down the Shift key and use that little scroll wheel, which if you have an Apple mouse is probably a little ball in the middle of your mouse. Holding down the Shift key, move that ball left and move it right. It's a very quick way of scrolling through your timeline without worrying about where your mouse is or finding some little button to click on, okay? It basically will scroll you in place wherever the mouse is. Practice that.